As the New York Giants approach their first joint practice today against the New York Jets and their last preseason game this coming Sunday at 1 o'clock against the New York Jets, the Giants continue to alter their roster just to get ready for the beginning of the regular season. As yesterday they had to deal with a couple of injuries, unfortunately, to their wide receiver position, and they ended up making a couple of claims, like guys like Bailey Gaither and Jalen Moore, as well as Harrison Hand. But they also were working out another player in the morning, and that was Tanner Hudson, the tight end out of Southern Arkansas, 6'5", 239 pounds, as a guy they could potentially bring in as depth at the tight end position, because the New York Giants right now do not have themselves a certified number one tight end at the moment. Daniel Bellinger, we are all hoping, is going to be that guy, but we have to understand he is a fourth-round rookie out of San Diego State, and it's a lot to put on the plate of a kid who really didn't have any type of receiving role when he was back there at San Diego State for his career, as he was mostly known as a blocking tight end. Even though he has flashed at points and he has looked pretty good in minicamp as well as OTAs, he's slowed down a little bit. He's still been solid, but it's very fair to say that it's going to take some time for him to learn the NFL. But the New York Giants ended up needing some more depth at the tight end position, and that's exactly what they did today, as they ended up signing Tanner Hudson, the 6'5", 239-pound tight end out of Southern Arkansas. He's played in 3 years in the league, formerly with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers from 2019 to 2020, and last year playing a couple of games with the San Francisco 49ers. Now, so far in his career, in 22 games played and 1 game started, Tanner Hudson has a total of 5 catches for 67 yards, as well as an 8.9 yards per catch. So that means he's pretty much a guy that's only been playing in bit places. He's only started in 1 game. He has had some NFL experience, but in 3 years so far in the league, he's only been known really as a bit player. So we don't know what we're going to get from this guy. And at the same time, the New York Giants, it's been a failed experiment right now when it comes to the tight end position in terms of the guys that they signed, because they signed Ricky Seals-Jones and Jordan Akins this offseason to try to provide a veteran leadership to that tight end group, as well as a veteran play to there. But you know what? Obviously, it did not work out, because Jordan Akins pretty much provided little to nothing to that tight end group the entire offseason, training camp, and preseason. He's done nothing really. He pretty much was a guy that they were hoping could be a field stretcher in that offense, but he's really just been a guy that's been muttering around in the third or fourth team in terms of the third and fourth team offense going forward in the tight end room. And Ricky Seals-Jones has pretty much been MIA the entire time. And so what ended up happening is that the New York Giants, a couple of days ago, ended up IRing Ricky Seals-Jones. He's going to be gone. Would not be surprised if they have an injury settlement with Ricky Seals-Jones going forward. And Jordan Akins was officially cut yesterday towards the end of the day, after the New York Giants had to make some transactional moves due to the injuries to Colin Johnson and Matt Kemp. So right now, the New York Giants continue to shuffle their roster around. We're going to have to see what Tanner Hudson can pretty much bring to this tight end group, because right now, it's a lot of uncertainty. You had Andre Miller, who was really making a solid impression with the New York Giants before he ended up breaking his forearm, and now he's out for the season due to what he's going to be out for the season. He's been put on injured reserve. His season's over. Obviously, we know about the failed experiments with Jordan Akins as well as Ricky Seals-Jones. And as much as we want to credit Austin Allen, he's looked okay out there, but he's really never distinguished himself to possibly make the roster here. I think he's maybe destined for the practice squad. If the New York Giants do want to sign him or keep him on the roster, he's going to pretty much be just a developmental third tight end. So maybe it's best if they could try to sneak him on the practice squad this year. Chris Myrick, great. He's a solid blocking tight end, but he's really very limited in terms of his game, so you don't want to rely on him too much. And like I mentioned earlier in the video, as much as we want to praise Daniel Bellinger for the work he was doing in OTAs and training and minicamp, and for what he was showing a little bit in training camp, you don't want to put too much on this kid's plate. He is a rookie, and he's going to need time to develop the rest of his game and learn the NFL concepts and game overall. So we have to see how Daniel Bellinger is going to look going into the season. He might be the de facto tight end one, but nobody would be surprised if when cut days come around after the last preseason game this coming Sunday, that the New York Giants are going to scour the waiver wire and try to get themselves a bona fide tight end to maybe go out there, be that tight end number one, and let Daniel Bellinger learn the NFL game going forward. But we'll have to see what Tanner Hudson can do. Like I mentioned before, 6'5", 239 pounds, got decent size. He has played in 22 games in the regular season. He has 5 catches for 67 yards total with an 8.9 yards per catch. No touchdowns. So we'll have to see how he does in the rest of this training camp. The amount of time we have left, which is not a lot. Have to see how he plays in that last preseason game against the Jets. See how he looks in joint practices starting today. So we'll have to see what's going to happen. But a lot of moving pieces that we're going to be expecting going for the rest of this training camp and preseason game for against the New York Jets. So there's going to be a lot more roster shuffling going on for the New York Giants before we start the NFL season on September 11th against the Tennessee Titans. So that's just my quick roster update for everybody. The New York Giants have officially signed tight end Tanner Hudson, who's last played with the San Francisco 49ers last season and only appeared in 2 games pretty much with no catches and no targets or anything. And the New York Giants, in a corresponding move, they've officially waived offensive lineman Chris Owens, who they just recently signed a few days ago to a contract. So that's just my roster update for you guys. If you like this video, please hit the like button below. And if you enjoy the content, subscribe to NYG Jeffy T 3285 for more breaking news updates, chatter, and roster updates surrounding the New York Football Giants, as well as other news surrounding the New York Mets, Brooklyn Nets, WWE Wrestling, and Food for Thought. And leave your comments below on the recent transactional moves that have happened around the New York Giants, with Colin Johnson being put on the IR due to a torn Achilles. What's going to be happening with Alex Bachman, as he also was injured yesterday at practice. Jordan Akins being cut off the roster, and what's going to be happening with this tight end position, and if a guy like Tanner Hudson could be a guy that maybe wins a roster spot because of just the absolute flux right now going on with the tight end position. So I hope everybody enjoys the rest of your Thursday morning. Take it easy, and let's see what the New York Giants are going to do at joint practice today against the New York Jets, and let's just hope that everybody has a clean bill of health by the end of the day. So everybody, have a great rest of your Thursday morning. Take it easy, and let's go New York Football Giants. Together blue, everyone.